Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And for those who are new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for those who have been following me, I thank you for your support. And please share this commentary with people you think will find this information informative. And now they're saying that the Jeffrey Epstein Black Book is getting ready to be released. And there are going to be several names. Bill Clinton, I think he is person number 38 or something like that on this Black Book evidence. But I want to talk about something that hasn't really been mentioned a whole lot with this famous Russian model, Ruslana Korshenova, who was found dead at her Wall Street apartment in New York City, where supposedly she fell or jumped off the ninth story of her building and killed herself. She was 20 years old when she fell from the ninth story building. But supposedly she had visited Epstein's island, St. James Island, when she was 18 years old. And the flight log showed that she was a model and was at Epstein's Island back in 2006. And subsequently, she committed suicide, supposedly, in 2008 in New York City, where Epstein had his Manhattan townhome, $47 million mansion. Nobody's really talking about that and the deleterious effects of these young ladies who had an association with Jeffrey Epstein. So supposedly this Russian model, Ruslana Korshenova, killed herself in 2008. She met Jeffrey Epstein when she was 18 in 2006, and she committed suicide in 2008. She was a famous model. She worked for Marc Jacobs, Kenzo, Paul Smith, Vera Wang, Nina Ricci, Donna Karan, Christine Dior. She was on the front cover of Russian Vogue at a time, and she was known as the Russian Rapunzel, whatever that means. Rapunzel, Rapunzel. So this was a famous young lady, and as we know, with the exploitation of young models, they generally want them between 12 and 16 years old to get them prepared for the world. We know that Lex Wexner, who is the owner of Victoria's Secret, was secretly financing Jeffrey Epstein, and many of these women and young ladies have gone through some traumatic experiences with Epstein and his associates, and some of them have died in this gavel that he was engaged in with these young ladies. And this Russian model, who was well known, she was on the cover of Russian Vogue and had various associations with top agencies, models, and magazines, supposedly jumped off the ninth floor building of her apartment in New York City back in 2008. And this is a sad and unfortunate commentary. Sexual exploitation, sexual discrimination, sex trafficking is all a bad and terrible chasm and axiom that is taking place in America and throughout this world. And Jeffrey Epstein had been doing this for over 25 years. And the powers that be had to know what was going on with Mr. Epstein. I think to a certain degree, Hugh Hefner, who was the owner of Playboy for 55 years, had a very similar scenario to Jeffrey Epstein, with young ladies exploiting them. There was numerous deaths, drug issues behind Playboy. Just look at Playboy After Dark on Netflix and some of the documentaries that have taken place. I think fortunately for Hugh Hefner, he died, and nobody's really going after character assassinating him. This Epstein thing is a little bit closer to the cuff because you have President Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Naomi Campbell, Donald Trump. There's several hundreds of powerful leaders that have been associated with him. And the young ladies that have been speaking out, the Jane Does, we kind of know a little bit about them, but nobody has ever talked about this Russian model, Ruslana Korshenova. And look it up. 2006, she met him at 18, and by 2008, she was deceased under blurry circumstances. Very unfortunate. This black book exposure is going to shake up the entire narrative in the political and entertainment arena. Also, billionaire Bill Ackman's wife his second wife has an association with Jeffrey Epstein, where she got $125,000 for her lab. And that is very unfortunate, and he doesn't want that to get out. His second wife name is Nuri Oxman, and so Jeffrey Epstein had donated over $125,000 to her lab. And there are many, many associates with Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, and this Russia model was well on her way. She got tangled in Jeffrey Epstein's web and had an unfortunate demise, and only lived to be 20 years old under bizarre circumstances of supposedly jumping off the 9th floor balcony of her apartment in New York City. So look it up. I tried to make the Trevor Donald experience informative on some semi-current issues, manifesting our truth in the right and positive direction. And the exposure of this black book needs to be exposed because all of these people that have been living in this chasm of darkness, it needs to come out into the light so that the American citizens in the world knows exactly what's going on with these people that are making decisions that are based on our lives and that are demoralizing our moral and ethical fabric as we try to have a sustainable and positive existence. We don't need any Jeffrey Epsteins in the world anymore. This sex trafficking, this drug trafficking, mental illness, the homelessness crisis, the opioid crisis. We need to try to solve these problems and have a better handle on making America a better place.